Hey everyone, we are back for another week of exciting rehearsals. This week we have a huge interview with some incredible women who were the first drummers on the legendary Crossmen drumline. We also have Ann Turner, who's a recent Blue Devils and RCC age-out, as our guest host. We will find out what made Jack say,
If I saw a kid march up in sneakers and in full uniform, I'd be getting like black duct tape and covering those shoes. I'm pretty ruthless in that regard.
And why Ricardo said...
Okay, but Stephen, listen. So we said, Whitney said, you're the straight boys of the marching arts. Now listen, all of my straight friends, whenever they're designing their costume, they come to me and ask me for those final polishing tips before they go out there. So we know that we can do better.
All this and more. So get out on the field and we will see you back on the sidelines for this week's episode of On a Water Break.
8 off the mat and go. Welcome to On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk everything marching arts.
Everyone, bring it in.
It's time for a water break. Welcome to another episode of Season 2 of On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk about everything you and your friends are talking about at rehearsal on a water break. I'm Jackie Brown. This week, we have another action-packed episode. We continue our celebration of Women's History Month with a roundtable of some truly incredible women. Woody and I got to sit down with Gisele Cadieux, Dawn Lewis, and Georgia Beth Fullbone. We also have a guest host this week, Ann Turner, to talk about a movie that she has done and what it's like being a female in some of the best drumlines in the country. But first, let's see who's on the sidelines this week. Steven, the word is that you and Jeremy had an intense conversation about shoes.
Oh, it was heated. It was actually really heated. Let the cat out of the bag a little bit, I guess, for our what are we doing later. But I want to bring this one back up and get all your opinions, because I think I'm right and I think Jeremy's wrong, but we'll see.
Oh, we shall see. Oh, I know we all have some opinions about shoes in this activity. I'm just saying. Ricardo is back tonight, which, Ricardo, you and I haven't even got to be on an episode together, so I love you and I'm so excited and glad you're here.
Bonjour. I'm so glad to be with you, Jack, and everybody else, and my old roomie Whitney over there. I am so excited to be here with everybody tonight.
So you were part of the WGI regional recap last week. How did that go?
Well, so the recap was awesome. The shade afterward from friends that were like, "Oh, you didn't mention my show." That kind of was not great. But I told everybody, listen, I love many, many shows, and there were not enough hours to record the podcast to talk about how many shows I actually did like. So if I did not talk about your show last week, it does not mean that I did not like your show. It just meant that I was only allowed to talk about so many so that we could keep the thing moving. So sorry, girl. Sorry, don't be mad.
Trish, hi, haven't seen you in a while.
I know. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Groovy.
Good.
Awesome.
Good. Finally good. I've been sick, so.
I'm a little under the weather myself. Whoever last week jinxed me when they were like, "Are you getting sick?" I'm like, no, I feel fine. But I'm okay.
Jack, I heard your interview with Colleen Wilson was fantastic.
Yeah, so this week I had the opportunity on March 4th. I think I've nothing better to do than to interview one of my mentors in the area of Scottish drumming, one of the few women who are in the competitive circuit on the West Coast. So it's awesome to hear that perspective and lift up that voice, especially for Women's History Month. So there's a really awesome experience that I'm looking forward to sharing it throughout the weekend.
Emily, how is your winter season going?
What's a winter season? Someone explain this to me. No, I'm just kidding. My non-marching band related winter season is going very well, although band things are starting to kick up finally in my sports pet band. Yes, that exists here. We have sports pet bands.
Woohoo!
Sports bet band is fun. I remember thinking like there's nothing better than like playing bottom bass drum in like a fall athletic band for like the hockey team in college. Just like standing around, I'm being loud, everybody's excited about it.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm all about that type of stuff.
Emily, I forgot, what instrument do you play?
Oh, so there's been a slight development in that. So I started playing baritone because I was bored of the flute, but then I've been upgraded to sousaphone, so that's going to be interesting.
Oh, wow.
Climbing up the ladder.
Whitney, hello. Well, we are going to talk about the WGI regional later, but I am so glad you're here. I think we're all glad you're here.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. I have not been on in a while, so yes, winter season is happening, and we're like ending, the lasts are happening. I had my last cadet rehearsal last night, so yeah, it's winding down.
It's not enough time to finish cleaning all the things, though.
No.
It's true. Okay, she has been yelling at the bass drums all rehearsal, so let's get our guest host in here. Please welcome Ann Turner. Hi, Ann.
Hi, guys.
Now, you were on one of our performer spotlights last year with Steven, but I think maybe our audience might still want to do a quick little 32 count life story.
I think there's always time for 32 counts. You ready, Ann?
I'm so ready.
You'll get 8 and in off the Met.
So hey guys, I'm Ann. I played bass drum all of my seasons during marching. I started in 2017 and I've done lots of ensembles. I've done Carolina Gold, Alchemy, Shadow, Boston, Crown, aged out of Blue Devils, RCC, and George Mason. And right now I'm enjoying the aged out life just as an educator, doing some sound and audio, teaching some bass drum, and soon I'm going to get into judging this fall season for the local circuit. Super excited.
Nice. And movie star, kinda, leaving out some other activities you've been getting into.
I am a credited actress, so I have an IMDb page if anybody wants to go find me.
Yes.
That's crazy. So that's cool. Why don't you tell us a little bit? Obviously, we're talking to lots of successful women in the marching arts this month, and just trying to hear about your stories and sort of how you got to do all the different things that you got to do. You've been a part of so many different drum lines. How'd you break into doing drumline in the movies?
It was actually a really one-off experience. So I was spending, a little bit too much time scrolling on the gram, and there was a Blue Devils of Boston alumni, Alex Blake, who posted on his story. He was like, "Hey, any SoCal drummers free for an audition on Wednesday?" And I'm like, "I'm a drummer. I'm in SoCal, and I'm free on Wednesday." So I checked all those boxes, and I sent him a message. And then I went down to the Amazon studios for a little audition, played some super easy beats, did like a quick little dance block, and then waited a couple of days, and eventually I got an email saying, "Hey, you've been selected to be in this movie drumline." And so we spent about a month on set for a movie called Candy Cane Lane. It's on Amazon Prime. It's an Eddie Murphy Christmas movie. And we did a little drumline battle scene, which is super fun. It was me and a bunch of old Blue Devils drummers. One of them was my quad tech at RCC. And my boyfriend Daniel got to be in the movie with me too, which was super fun. Really weird hours. It was overnight shoots because the scene we were doing was outside, and it was a night scene. So we were on set from the hours of 4 p.m. to 6 in the morning. So tensions would get a little high from the 2 to 6 a.m. range. But overall, it was a super cool experience. We got to go to Center Stage Studios and work with Rich and Tone, like a super amazing choreographer who's worked with Michael Jackson to kind of put together a whole drumline scene. And it was a pretty fun experience.
That's crazy. So how involved was the actual scene compared to doing marching band, as you know? What are some differences between performing and acting drumline?
Yeah, so performing drumline or any marching band things in media, I now understand why so many people have a semi-negative understanding of what we do just based off of our representation in the media, because most people working on the film sets also have no idea what we do. Like, we all wore gloves. The entire marching band was in gloves, including the battery. And we're all like, hey, man, you know, we don't really wear gloves. And they tried to make like a string bassist wear gloves too. And so it's just little details like that you kind of scratch your head at. But as far as the involvement in the movie, our drumline battle got some snippage in the post-production. Yeah. So not quite as long as of a scene as I had hoped for, because it was honestly really cool. The choreography and stuff was awesome. But you can see me in there a couple times. You got to pause some frames, but anytime you see a bass drum on screen, that's probably me. And it's, you know, pretty cool to be able to watch a movie and be like, hey, that's me. I know that person.
Yeah. Or to think back to like, I always think back to like being a freshman in marching band, then think about all the different drum corps I did. But like to think back to when you were a freshman and then like see yourself in California on an Eddie Murphy video, like movie set, like that's pretty crazy. That's a whole journey. And you've had a whole journey just yourself, like getting from like starting in Carolina Gold and working through a whole lot of different ensembles. Is there maybe anything you would say from your experience? It's obviously there's not as many women involved in drumline as there are men. So you've probably had a lot of different experience being sort of a bit of a lone wolf in the different ensembles that you've been a part of. What would you say? Is there anything that was difficult or anything that you think is unique to being a woman in drumline that you've come across your years?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely comes with, you know, its own set of difficulties to being the only person on a field at any given time with, you know, just like a life story and experiences that relate to you. I don't think I've actually had a woman instructor as far as like battery specific goes. Actually, there was one time that we had someone fill in at Mason for one block.
Yeah.
So that was the one time I've had someone in front of me who also was a woman. And so it can be a little isolating, you know, just being on a field and just being like, oh yeah, that's a lot of men. But one thing that really stuck with me was obviously I started marching back in 2015. So from 2015 all the way up to 2024, like there's been some pretty significant changes from how the activity operates and, you know, little things popping out here or there that some people are like, hey, maybe that's not good. We should change it. But when I was starting to audition for drum corps, I was lucky enough to have an instructor in high school, Forrest and Megan, who had both marched Phantom and Cavaliers. So it was really nice to kind of see someone do it and be like, oh, I can go do that too. But I remember he told me before I started auditioning for drum corps is to be careful where I audition, because some places will cut me just on the fact that I'm a woman. And that was, you know, kind of difficult to hear. Luckily, I don't think I ended up auditioning anywhere that I felt disadvantaged just because of, you know, who I am.
Right.
So it was very nice to be able to go through the audition process and feel like I had a fair shot. But there are definitely like, you know, things you experience or just the way you hear maybe some of the guys in your section talk about other members, like specifically color guarded women, that you're just kind of like, hey, like that's not super cool. Maybe we don't talk about, you know, our fellow members that way.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. And I never really had considered the education side of it either, that like, not only would you not be really marching necessarily with like many other women, but you also wouldn't really be being taught by women as well. It's kind of remarkable that there aren't more. You're starting to break into teaching more now though, and judging as well, I guess. Yeah. What do you think are some of your goals as you get into teaching now, now that you're aged out? What would you like to accomplish more as a tech?
Yeah, I mean, definitely just increasing the bass drum knowledge that's out there and just being the most effective drum instructor I can be, you know, period, man or woman. It's all about just being able to get concise information out there and really be able to get your point across in as few as words as possible so that the kids can get the reps. But then you also have to be able to break down things in like 3, 4, 5 different ways, because one teaching style is going to work for one person and another teaching style is going to work for someone else. And I've already noticed just a positive reaction from members, especially other women in just the percussion ensembles that I've taught, because most of them are like, you are the first woman that I have been around from an instructor standpoint, like either on the audio standpoint, just being like a woman in audio. There's also, limited number of us. And then, on the bass drum side, I'm most people's first instructor who is a woman. So a lot of people will come up to me after the season and just be like, hey, it was super awesome to have you on staff, because I felt like we, shared a similar experience. So it makes me really happy to hear that I can also help just create a more positive member experience and something that's just more inclusive by having someone that looks like you on the field.
Great job, everyone. Set your equipment down. Gush and go.
All right, let's do our gush and goes. Trish, why don't you start us off?
Okay. So this week, my high school team's getting ready to hit the road again. They have a show this weekend. My independent team had a show last weekend, which was their first show in a while, and they got through it. That was the big breaking news. They got through it. Didn't matter what the score was. Didn't matter any of that. So we're really excited about that. So, and I mean, I could talk more about this next week as it gets closer, but the high school team it will be at the East Power Regional next Saturday, and I'm super excited about that. So all good stuff happening here.
Emily, what would you like to gush about?
Yes. So I'm currently in grad school for something completely unrelated to band. But, being a band nerd, I have to make everything about band. So for my class, I had to do like a research proposal, and I'm just like, perfect opportunity to make this about band. So basically, TLDR, I'm wrapping up a research proposal about exploration of experiences of LGBTQ band members and how the band space can potentially serve as a safe space. And so that has been my hyperfixation for the past
Love it. Oh my gosh, you are out here doing God's work, my dear. For our listeners who can't see, Emily is dabbing.
Oh my gosh, don't put that on video.
Both sides.
Right, we have a YouTube channel now. Oh dear. Anyway.
Steven, what do you want to gush about?
Yeah, I've been removed from my band life for the last week because I've been moving. So I don't have anything band related to talk about. But this whole room behind me is going to be like absolutely full of instruments. You probably can like see some of them out the corner of the frame. But 2 drum sets, like 6 guitars, a bass, plenty of amps, like 3 keyboards. So I'm just really excited to like get out of marching a little bit and just do some regular old music now that I have this nice space here. So I got you next week for real band, but for today I'm stuck in real life.
Because rock bands somehow are not real bands. What?
I'll get you with my drum line that I'm normally stuck on, but
there we go. Ricardo,
yeah,
what do you
been
want to
busy.
gush and go on about?
I am getting to the end of the season. So this weekend is my group's last regular season competition in the FFCC. And then I get a weekend off from band because I'm going into theater world for State Thespian Festival, which is always a blast to get to do some acting and dancing in that sense. And then it'll be championship time before you know it.
It's so soon. I was just saying earlier, like it feels like it's been the shortest season ever.
It has been the shortest season, and this is like there's never enough time to clean, and I feel like Joan Crawford in that scene. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the dirt.
Jack, what would you like to gush and go on about?
All right. So I had an action-packed weekend. Also, by the way, my pipe major roommate, he's playing bagpipes right now. So if you hear that in the background, that's that. So So this weekend was the start of our competitive season for the Scottish Drum Majoring Competition World. It was held in Phoenix, so it was a Phoenix Championship. And so I flew out on Thursday, competed Saturday and Sunday for the championship, and I won first placement, so I was able to take that home this weekend. And then I literally flew back. And then on March 4th, I interviewed Colleen, so it was just back-to-back this weekend. So I'm excited to see where the season will take solo competitors. It was a really nice showing at Phoenix. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool, actually. But one thing I was curious on there, the Scottish Drum Major Championship is in Phoenix, Arizona?
Yeah, so that's the first regional championship for Western United States Pipe Band Association. So we have Phoenix, and then we go to the Bay Area, and then I'm actually looking to compete internationally this year at the Worlds and the European Championships held in Glasgow and the United Kingdom. Yeah, so
that's awesome.
Should be fun. Yeah,
congratulations.
Nice.
And you see how we structure our gush and go situation. So is there anything you would like to gush and go on about going on in your marching band
update.
life?
Much like Steven, I also just moved. So I was hanging out at home for a little bit in Wilmington, North Carolina. I just moved to Richmond, Virginia. So kind of getting settled up here as far as teaching goes. Kind of been taking it a little bit on the back seat, which is nice. This is my first winter off after 7 seasons of consecutively having my weekends just booked up for months and months and months. So it's been really nice to have some weekends back. So I've been able to kind of travel a little bit more to different high schools and just be able to clinic. And it's been really nice just getting to, pepper some bass drum knowledge around at different high schools. And I also just wanted to shout out Ralph Nader and Emily Soder. I don't know if you guys have been to a benefit counter recently, but they got to do like a huge marketing campaign with benefit, like the eyebrow makeup. And so if you go to a benefit counter or like a CVS or something, you might see their faces on a big benefit advertisement. So drummers doing cool things.
Yay, fun.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. I might have to talk to you if you know Ralph Nader, because I'm trying to get Ralph Nader in here someday. That would be crazy.
Yeah, Ralph's a cool dude. They had like 3-foot long 3D printed like makeup brushes that they were drumming with. So it was pretty cool. Unfortunately, they didn't get to keep them because apparently there's like $1,000 a piece to print these giant eyebrow pencils, but they look pretty cool.
It is funny to think, though, like, what are they going to do with that after they're done letting Ralph Nader drum with them?
I know, right?
They need them back. Like,
maybe auction it off for charity or something.
I hope. Yeah, that would be a good use.
Maybe stake a vampire with it. You never know.
Yeah.
Whitney, what would you like to gush and go on about this week?
It has been a quick season, but I am ready for a break. Also, we just had the Austin Regional, and that has caused me to need all kinds of things. But I think maybe we'll talk about that later. I don't know. Yeah. Spring break!
That group chat was just going off and going off. I know.
I stopped teaching class to go read the group chat because it was so juicy. I did. I hope my principal's not listening to this. I wasn't on my phone, I promise. I was.
So I need to gush about 2 color guards in particular who are Spintronics, have learned and have some association with Spintronics, and they both went to a WGI regional recently. First off, the Hilldale Crimson Vanguard color guard went to their first ever WGI regional. They came in 4th in their class, and their director, Angel Clark, is a Spintronics instructor, and she has done such a great job with this program. They have come so far, and I'm so proud of them. And I'm just looking forward to them continuing this trend because they have a lot of potential and a good program behind them. And then Kim Anderson is another instructor who we have worked with, and she teaches the Mid-Buchanan R5 school district here in Missouri. And they went to their second ever WGI Regional, and they got second. And they were like this close to first. And this was their only second time doing a WGI Regional. So these small school guards are showing up, and they're doing some cool stuff. So I'm really proud of them. And seriously, anybody who has done anything with Spintronics, I try to keep up with you guys on social media and see what y'all are up to. So send me stuff. If I didn't see it and like it, then that means I probably just didn't see it. But I love seeing all of our instructors and programs get success at different levels.
Hey, it's called Gush and Go, not Gush and Stay. Let's go.
So before we go into our commercial, Jack, I just have to ask you, because you said there was something you wanted to share that Colleen said when you interviewed her the other day. So why don't you kind of like set that up for us?
Yeah, so Colleen Wilson is a well-known Western United States drum major competitor in the drum major solo competitions for the Scottish Flourishing. And she has been an awesome mentor to me, and especially in a male-dominated space of Scottish drum majoring. Her perspective, her wisdom, and her lived experience is extremely valuable in being able to look to the future and see a space where our art form can continue to include more people. I had an awesome interview with her, and she got to talk about how we can bring in more individuals into our art form to be a more inclusive space for Scottish drum majoring. And with the advent of recent Scottish world champions being women, I see the ball is beginning to roll in the right direction here. So let's take a listen at her perspective.
So I was the first female drum major in my high school in the late 70s. And it was, to me, it wasn't a question of, can I do it? I was going to do it. And I didn't care, if somebody was going to say, girls aren't supposed to do that. No one ever said that to me. But I think, and certainly that is not going to happen now, because women are being included in so many more things. So I really would like to encourage young women in, even in elementary school. I've worked with some secondary school kids, and one girl in particular who unfortunately didn't continue, but she gave it a shot. But I really would encourage high school girls. This is not a guy's thing. And flourishing, leadership skills, women have leadership skills. And you need to take those skills and add your marching into it, add your drum majoring into it, go to camps, go to competitions, and just grow yourself as a woman in this art form, because we need more women. I don't like being the only woman out there. And every time there's a little girl that comes by, and I'll hand her my mace and I'll say, you know what? You can do this. You could do this. Did you think that was cool? You could do this too.
Yeah, so she is just such a gem, and her perspective is so awesome. And as instructors of this art form looking to the future, one of my responsibilities, I feel like, is to make sure that we bring that inclusivity into these leadership positions, because the best leaders and the best group of leaders always have different perspectives and have different lived experiences. And I think that's what makes Colleen and so many others such a gem to our art form.
Okay, everybody. Steven, you must be so excited, because the amount of drummers that we have at the rehearsal right now.
I can't believe how much we've talked about bass drumming tonight. It's insane.
Well,
keep it going next week.
You and Anne take the bass drums. Woody and I are going to go grab Gisele, Dawn, and Georgia, and we are going to clean the heck out of those snares. We'll be right back after this historic interview with these legends of the drumming world.
Hey everyone, it's Jeremy, and here are your announcements coming from the box. You want to drink up on a water break Lost in Translation with Cynthia Bernard? Uncover the glitz and glamour of Twirlers with On a Water Break and Rhinestones, hosted by Lexi Duda. Get the insider scoop from the stands with On a Water Break from the stands with Cindy Berry, aka Leander Mama, and join the band family in On a Water Break family style with Stephanie Click, plus much, much more to come. Make sure to follow us on social media at On a Water Break for all the latest updates and bonus content. Got something to share or a burning question? Email us at onawaterbreakpodcast@gmail.com. So don't be the person that doesn't tell their friends about a water break. Make sure everyone stays hydrated. Okay, field staff, take it away.
Let's reset.
Hey guys, welcome back to the sideline. I am hanging out here with Woody. How are you, Woody?
I am fantastic tonight, Jackie. I'm loving life right now.
I am so excited that you assembled this beautiful panel of clinicians tonight because, okay, you know me, I'm all about the women's history, and we are talking to some incredible female percussionists. I'm not going to claim to know anything about percussion as a guard girl, but yeah, I want to go ahead and introduce them. This is Gisele Cadieux. Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm doing good. Dawn Lewis.
Hello.
And Georgia Siriani. Hi.
Hello.
Oh, I'm so excited to talk to you guys.
It's like on a game show.
So, yeah, I mean, some of the sound effects make it pretty exciting. Woody, can I ask you first, how do you know these lovely women here before us?
Well, I tell you, it's kind of funny how this all got going. And in one of our episodes, we were talking about, someone mentioned Georgia Beth. And I said, hey, I know Georgia Beth. Now, as far as I was concerned, I thought she was the very first woman snare drummer in the Crossmen. And I said, I'll call Georgia. We'll talk to just her. I called Georgia and she's like, oh, no, time out. I am not number one. As a matter of fact, there are two more of us. I'm like, the hell you say? And so she put me in touch with these ladies. As a matter of fact, when I kind of talked to a couple other people out on the street that this was coming, they were like, did you get Dawn? I was like, Dawn who? And then Georgia Beth tells me about her. I mean, I'm sorry, ladies. I mean, I should have known, but you know.
No. Why? No.
This is why we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
It is why we're doing it. You know, during my era, Georgia Beth was a big thing. It was like they have a girl in the Crossmen snare line.
Yeah, it's huge.
It was huge. And then she tells me before her there was Gisele. I'm like, what? I have to meet her. And then I guess when they mentioned you, Dawn, it then came to me. Are you one of Terrell's students?
Yes,
Terrell
I am.
Smith?
I still am.
See, I knew the name sound familiar.
Yes.
And I remember people mentioning your name and him together, and then it just all clicked. So this is very exciting for me tonight, Jackie.
I'm excited too. I absolutely love that you were able to pull this all together, Woody, and I appreciate you guys for making time in your schedule to do this. We have to start with our traditional way of starting all of our interviews, and that is with the 32 count life story. Gisele, would you be okay with going first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so for our listeners who don't know how this works, we're basically just going to give you 8 off the bat, and then you have 32 counts, which comes out to about 30 seconds, to tell us anything pertinent to your life story, what we might like to discuss in the marching arts, or if you just want to tell us, when you were born, that's cool too. However far you want to go back.
Okay, all right. As ready as ever, I guess. All right, go. Okay. So born French Canadian to parent, raised in Montreal. I started following drum corps. I was 6 years old when my sister was marching in an all-girl corps. And then I joined the same all-girl corps at 15. We're probably going to talk about that later. I met my husband through drum corps when teaching. I married, moved to South Africa, lived there for 7 years, played percussion there and subbed at orchestras there. Then when I came back, I found a new calling, and then I got involved again when my kids started marching. Yeah, that's about it. I think I'm done, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. You are a world traveler. That's amazing.
Love it.
Okay, I have so many questions now, but let's go ahead and do Dawn. Would you like to do the next one?
Yeah, I'll do the next one. Now that I know about
and Georgia, I can see Georgia like getting excited.
Oh gosh,
where can I go?
Sure.
Are you ready?
I'm going. Okay. So I'll start off when I started playing snare drum at all. I was in middle school, and my brother was my first teacher, and I went and saw him at the high school, and Luca was in the snare line, and she marched in the Crossmen, and she was a female snare drummer, and her hands looked so cool, and she did all these cool visuals, and I was like, I want to do that. And then their teacher, George Sullivan, who marched in the New York Skyliners and took me to my first practice, he took me to see the Skyliners, and I was like, I want to do that. And 2 years later, I was the first female snare drummer in the New York Skyliners. In 1991, I was 16.
Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. What a trailblazer.
And the world comes together for me again. Okay.
You know me, Woody,
All
and I know you.
Right?
Right.
You've seen me before. I was a little girl, so.
The pieces are coming together. All right. Forgive me. I'm elderly.
It's okay, Woody.
Okay, we got one more. Georgia.
Oh, boy.
Are you ready?
I guess so.
All right, let's make this happen.
All right. Jersey girl, born and bred. Started out my musical career actually on flute. Played flute until high school. I changed to the drums on a whim. I actually wanted to play saxophone, but I couldn't find a used saxophone, so I ended up buying a drum pad and sticks and started my journey. I played snare for 3 years in high school, found drum corps on PBS, and really wanted to do it, but didn't know how to get to it. And when I went to college at Westchester University, of course, I was surrounded by a bunch of drum corps people. And by my junior year, I was ready, and I went and tried out for Crossmen, and second girl in the snare line there. And then when I finished that up, I ended up a couple years out, and then heard about the Bushwhackers, got dragged to the open house, and 6 years at the Bushwhackers in the snare line. So,
wow. 6 years of drum corps and one corps. Oh my gosh.
You young people.
Talk about it. My daughter's a color guard. She did 10.
See, that's the way you're supposed to roll, right? Right?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
No, she's done.
You don't leave.
So all three of you marched Crossmen?
Yes.
At some point?
Yeah.
Yes.
So what was it about the Crossmen that sort of made the environment more accepting, I guess, of female drummers?
Well, okay, so for me, I wanted to audition for Vanguard, but they were not allowing female drummers to audition at Vanguard at that time. So we could not even audition. So then being in the East Coast, I looked through East Coast chorus and wrote a few, but then Crossmen seemed to me to be the better choice in terms of the style of playing back then. And I just wrote. I mean, I came from an all-girl corps. To me, a girl snare drummer was a normal thing.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of I'm going to be the first one. I didn't think of any of that. So, but Crossmen, the staff, like the people, I don't know. I just like their style of playing, and I wanted to stay on the East Coast when, if I'm going to go all the way to California, it has to be for the corps I want to be in. But
right.
Yeah. So, but they were welcoming. They were fine. They were good in the end. Poor guys.
Yeah, I had a similar, I actually wanted to try out for the cadets because I was Jersey girl. So, but I heard that they did not take girls in the snare line. And so I was at Westchester at the time, and Crossmen were out of Westchester. So I went to rehearsals at Westchester to the Crossmen. And I actually did have some pushback from some of the guys in the line. They were not happy, but Thurston gave me the chance and I did it, and I'm glad I did.
Who gave you the chance? Thurston?
Yep.
That would. Oh, so he was my snare leader. He was my line leader.
No, he was in charge of the line when I marched.
So that's probably why you got the chance, Georgia. No, but Mark was even at my audition for Crossmen. Yeah, you can tell the ones who wanted you there and the ones who didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty intimidating when you see a woman who can play as well as you, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's weird because, like you said, like Gisele said, for me, it didn't seem like it was a weird thing for a girl to be going out for the snare line. When I was in high school, there was another girl in the snare line. I never had anybody like look at me weird, like, oh, why is there a girl in the drum line? It didn't seem weird. And even when I went to college and I was with a lot of drum corps guys, Tom Ungst was there teaching the line when I started in freshman year. And, it wasn't a problem. It didn't seem weird until I went to the Crossmen and I got that pushback and heard, cadets don't take girls in the snare line. It was just weird.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the way it was.
You've heard all your life, girls being drummers is no big deal. Girls being snares is no big deal. And if you're a guy who's heard all his life, no, girls can't drum, then, I'm sure their world got shook up by having you ladies on the line with them.
Oh,
that's how that t-shirt was born, like girls play drums, get over it.
Right.
Dawn, what was the draw for you?
Well, I actually did try out for cadets, and I was with the cadets all winter long. And this was 1995, the year I ended up marching with the Bushwhackers with Georgia. We have marched together.
Yes, we have.
Yes, they kept me all winter. They kept me all winter long at cadets, and I was pulled out of a room many times, isolated, and I heard many things were said. And one of them was I was too small, probably can't do it. I'm a distraction. That was one, and so they cut me right before it was time to get warm outside. And I remembered Mark coming on the bus when I marched in the Skyliners when I was just a kid and saying, hey, you could play. You should come try out for the Crossmen. And so I said, well, am I allowed to curse? I'm not going to do it. Never mind. F it. let me go take Mark up on that offer. And so I did. I went to the Crossmen. And I can tell you, honestly, as a female who I did put my neck out there, knowing full well I wasn't welcome at the cadets. That was one of the reasons I went there. Yeah. I just wanted to. I was like, I'm gonna go, and I did. I learned
some feathers. Yes.
Yeah, I went. That's kind of my thing. I like to stir pots and ruffle feathers, and so I went, and they did cut me, and they did tell me to come back. Willie Higgins did tell me to return the following year, but I was like, I think I'll pass. And I'm glad that I did. In hindsight, I did exactly what I should do. I did exactly the right thing. And, Mark has a way of, and all the staff, they just have a way of making you release fear and play to your full potential. And that's why I love the Crossmen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. That's
I love that description.
He was like that as a leader as well. Mm-hmm. I don't know if about you, Georgia and Dawn, but when I auditioned, so first of all, I auditioned at a time when the Crossmen drum line was really strong. Mm-hmm. That line, the percussion line that I played in, the Crossmen, was basically the same as 1980. And that was 2 years later. That was in 82. And so there were only 2 spots open on the snare line. The bass line was already full. They've been playing for 2 seasons already. And there was 2 spots open on the tenor. It was very few. So that was very, very strong. But you're right, Dawn. We had to audition in front of everybody. And that was very intimidating, but they had a way, and they counted a lot on Mark and Rob Robinson at the time, because Rob had come back from Blue Devils from his 1 year at Blue Devils, and like Tom Annam and Chris Thompson, they were very good at making you feel at ease, like just show us what you can do, be sound. I didn't have any piece prepared. I mean, I'm telling you, I had nothing prepared. I went in and and I didn't speak English. And so I went in front and I just said, just ask me things. Yeah, I don't know. But they were very, that's I think that's what gave me confidence into just going forward and just pushing through it. Definitely. So the guys who were not quite agreeing with me being there, eventually they, like Mark and these people made it so that, that they would make me shine some of the things that I was strong with. So the guys who did not accept it could see and hear, she's
got chops.
Yeah. He's got chops. And I could march very well. And back then, chops meant more like in terms of endurance of playing. Like we would walk around the field and roll, walk around the field and do singles, walk around the field and do things like that. And so I could march very well, and we were on the field that was very bad, so I could absorb a lot of the things. So my rolls were always so nice and consistent, and so that's what made me be accepted by everybody. Like, respect. So that's good. Fine. Now we can move on with the season.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that was my experience with it. But yeah, Don, you're right about that. So, good. Right.
All right. That's going to have to be cut out, huh? That did this.
I lull in the conversation.
Gisele, what year did you march Crossmen?
82. And I marched Chatelaines for 7 years before that.
You are a Shoshana girl.
I sure am.
Oh, man. That was the jam.
Yeah. That drum line was it's crazy. Yeah.
Well, I marched Black Watch, so obviously I've seen you a lot. I've seen you a lot, and that was a good year for the East Coast.
Yes,
everybody was good in drums.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes. Yeah. Very true. Very true. Very true.
How about you, Dawn? When did you march Crossmen?
1996. 96, it was Mark Thurston's last year with the Crossmen. Well, on the East Coast anyway. So the Birdland.
It sounds so sad.
The Birdland, the big drum opener that everybody loves.
Yes.
I love to this day. I still play it all the time. I like to make sure I can still play it.
I am a true drum corps person. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I might end up being the next historian or something. I don't know.
Cool.
I wouldn't put it past you, Woody.
And Georgia Beth, what year did you march?
87.
87. Okay. Oh, your host is Twinkie.
What? What's?
Was that the Spanish year? 87?
No.
No, that's 85. 85. 85.
Summertime Rumble.
Oh, you play Rumble?
Yes.
Ooh, I don't know, Gisele. Oh, Rumble versus Shoshana. Oh, I don't know. What did you play for drum solo there, Dawn? Oh, we had an opening.
What are you talking about? It's the first thing that happened.
The
opener. I played the opener as a drum solo, Woody.
Was a drum solo, yes, I do remember that.
Yeah.
I always felt like the drum line opened up the show with so much energy. The Corps could never get that back again.
Yeah, the show was heavy. Mark Thurston's last year. It was definitely a statement piece, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he does write crazy beats anyways, right?
Yeah. It was a super percussive book, I would say. It was definitely a signature Thurston goodbye. It was awesome.
Yes, it was an awesome drum solo. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Very cool.
So, first off, before I go into my list of questions here for these ladies. You have anything else, Jackie?
Well, I was just gonna start asking some of the stuff about what it's like to be on tour with these groups. Crossmen in particular, but what's it like being the only girl? For myself, I was only ever on co-ed color guards, and I couldn't imagine, basically.
Yeah, it was different. It was definitely different for us. I mean, obviously we did everything that guys did as far as we drummed on our pads for most of the trip until you passed out. We all changed.
What bus did you ride?
We all changed. I drummed all the time. I mean, I still drum all the time. I have an obsessive personality, and I drum every day to this day. Preparing
bless your heart.
Yeah, I'm preparing for our 50th anniversary. You might have heard about, but I can't tell you much about it. But I'm preparing for that.
I was going to ask you about that.
Woody's got it on his list.
I got the shirt on. I figured you guys might figure something out. But yeah, I can't tell you any details about it. But I've been practicing for over a year because I have personal goals. Honestly, so
we're both doing it. So I had the occasion of meeting.
Oh, you doing it too?
Yes, Gisele as well. I wish Georgia was doing it.
Yes,
I am. The time or the money.
I know. I get it. Life is life.
Or I would be there.
Life can be cruel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
But,
definitely.
Yeah, we're doing it. Both of us are doing it, which is cool. First and third, baby.
So you guys rode the bus with the guys. You had to sit in the same gyms with the guys.
My seat partner was a guy. I did. I slept in the same seat. My seat partner was in the snare line. You didn't have that. Yeah. Well, I went.
Lucky.
I did 2 tours. My seat partner was always another snare drummer. Because
I rode a snare
drummer. I did what snare drummers did. I was always with the snare line. I never was not with the snare line.
I was always with the snare line doing everything the snare line does, except when we travel. I was in the color guard bus.
Oh, no.
And I had to.
Really?
Yeah, I had to. Yes. I was in the color guard bus for tour, and I had to beg to be in the drumline bus going to shows so that we could, you drum and you prep and you whatever. So I had to beg for at least that part to be in the drum bus. But no, at color guard bus, it was crazy. It was great.
Yeah. So how do you get that? Did that provide some limitations for you as far as disseminating information that you needed for your section and stuff like that? Did you ever feel like you were behind the guys in that regard?
Well, Jackie, I'll tell you, I felt like I was behind all the time because I did not speak English.
Well, yeah, okay.
One thing,
that's crazy.
But
that's amazing.
It was just to me, it's just it was just writing to the shows. I needed to be able to feel
that energy,
the togetherness of the line, and we were very close. So at least they allowed that, and from the moment they allowed that, it was better, But otherwise it's just color guard bus, and then some. And again, you have also this confrontation with the girlfriends and so some of the girls were really nice and happy to see me there. Some of the girls were like, hey, don't. One girl even said, don't talk to my boyfriend during rehearsal. And I'm like, seriously.
Gisele, were a lot of your friends color guard girl? A lot of your friends were in the color guard, or would you consider that you were?
I had friends in the color guard. Some of my roommates when we went, because I moved in February. So some of my roommates were color guard girls in the winter, But in the summer I was friends with guys and girls in guys and girls in the horn line, color guard. But the drum line, the snare line was very, very close. We hung out a lot. Yeah, we hung out a lot.
Very cool.
How about
Georgia,
you,
what was it like for you?
Yeah, I did not ride the drum bus either. I was on the mixed bus, horns, guard, you name it. And I did have a guy's seat partner, but You know, I never really missed being on the drum bus. I really didn't. Because again, there were some of the guys that I did not like the fact that I was in the line. So I kind of, stayed away from them. But, they would do stuff like rehearse in the men's room at facilities just to, bug me, but it really didn't do shit. It did not bother me. I'm like, I don't care. I really don't care.
That's amazing.
But no.
Your experiences were very different than mine in those aspects.
And also, it's kind of funny because it kind of gives the essence of the core that season. Like if the guys are trying to isolate you, as opposed to when I was there. I mean, we were focused. We were a good drumline. We had goals, and so we, being together was important, and we worked hard together. And we helped each other. It's kind of, it's
Gisele,
funny.
You marched with some of the leading arrangers in the activity for a lot of years. I mean, you marched with a lot of guys who shaped the activity for what it is now. So, I mean, I know the people that Georgia marched with, and that's a whole different group of people. Like, they were just regular drum corps people. You march with like,
I mean, most of and some of these people were staff. They were young. They were coming out, but
they're young, right? The Tom Hannums of the world. Like he's one of the most incredible writers in the activity.
Yeah,
you're
very lucky, very fortunate.
Oh, I know. Believe me.
No, say some of these names, because seriously, like every time you say a name, I feel like I'm even recognizing them, and I'm not a percussionist at all.
So my staff was Tom Annam and Chris Thompson. So Tom Annam was headed at Boston University. You have to correct me because I don't know all the names still. I don't follow all the American stuff. But so these are two big names. And Mark Thurston was in mine. Rob Robinson, who won the individual championship for years, was in my line. Ken Sherry became a judge at one point. Jim Dwyer is still involved in the activity and is still judging today. He was on the line with me. Who else can I think of? I don't know if the other guys were really involved, but I know that some of them are still band directors that are pretty influent and stuff. So yeah, a lot of these people, and some of these people, went to cadets and when that line became
made it what it is.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys left Crossmen and went to the cadet thing, and then that's when the cadets blew up. No, that's when Garfield. That's when Garfield blew up.
Steve Kiefer, Bob Morrison, all these people.
Yeah, it's Bob crazy. Morrison. Look, you march with some kings of DCI percussion.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. When I see this now, I'm like, oh my goodness. Amazing.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, he was a bum. I was better than him.
Yeah. But it speaks to the seriousness of the line, the focus of the drum line that year. It really does represent how we worked. Yeah.
So we only have a few minutes left, and one of the things I'm really interested to get your guys' input on is how you kind of look at the activity now, and like, do you feel like trailblazer for this, or do you feel like this was just inevitable, or like what are some of your feelings as you kind of see the women in the activity now and how they can integrate and be, we've even had like all male drum corps that have become co-ed now. So what are kind of your thoughts on that as we're moving forward in what drum corps has become?
Georgia, you want to?
Well, go ahead. I'll just say, honestly, I never thought of what I was doing when I was doing it. Not one time. I really was just focusing on becoming the best drummer I could possibly be and overcoming challenges that I had. I'm 5'1". I'm 100 pounds soaking wet. A drum is like 40 pounds. So to look at me when anyone would say, oh, you march drum corps. Yeah. Oh, you're in the color guard. I'm like, no, I'm in the snare line. everybody always thought I was, that's what I was doing. So no, to look at me, you think I spin a flag, but no, I'm a snare drummer. That's my alter ego. That's what I do.
I love that.
When I see women today, I honestly just, if I had to be honest, what I do is I just stare at them. I don't even watch anybody else playing because I'm just so enamored by any woman who can overcome all of the ego that could come with being around a bunch of guys who are trying to, beat you out of a spot. And for them, it's like, God, I can't have a girl beat me, but for me, it's like, I'm just earning my spot, just like everybody else. So in the moment, I never thought about what I was actually doing. But now when I watch and I see all these women doing it, I'm like, wow, that's so cool, because I there was a time I was the only one and nobody else was around.
Yeah.
And I just love seeing it. And again, I stare at their pretty hands.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, pretty drumming hands are pretty drumming hands, right?
Like women have the sweetest hands. I'm just saying, the women's hands always look good.
And in all of my years of playing and watching the activity grow, I'm always amazed. First off, I have my name for it. I call it Chicks with Chops. I have promoted it forever. But when I taught the Jersey Surf, the thing that made me fall in love with having girls in the line is that they had more stones than the men, especially my female tenor players. God, my back hurts. The lady, she would not even take the drum off her back.
Don't forget, she got her period too. Shit.
Yes.
What about it?
Oh my God. Come on now.
Yes, it's true though.
Yeah. I could play those while I'm bleeding, sir. All right? What are you crying about?
Right.
I'll tell you, it was one of the best things ever. And I'll tell you, Jackie, I know you're a color guard person, but snare drummers are very egotistical. They're probably a lot like rifles.
Oh my gosh.
It's probably the equivalent.
It's
probably, yeah, that would be the color guard equivalent. Yes.
They are deep. Snare drummers are divas, and they don't like anybody stepping in their spot. They don't like it. So
that's the only type of drummer I never dated was a snare drummer.
Oh,
you're lucky.
That's the only type of drummer. Oh, oops, sorry.
So
my bad. Oh,
okay. So last question before we go: what are you guys up to now? And we'll just kind of go from each person. What are you up to now? And if our listeners want to follow you on social media, do you have a social media that you could share with them that they could kind of keep up with what you're doing? Gisele, you want to start us?
All right. Okay. So, I'm still very involved in the activity. Founded the drumline circuit here in Quebec. And I'm doing the 50th anniversary for Crossmen, so that's good. Also, speaking of Women's History Month, I'm part of a group of 4 lady snare drummers. We are the only 4 that marched finals in '82. And we got together as friends. We met and we played a solo back then. And there's videos on YouTube. It's called Chicks with Sticks. And it's a girl from Blue Devils, a girl from Phantom, a girl from Freelancers, and me. And we're just friends, and we get together and we drum. And from time to time, there's a little video coming out. So if people want to check that, I'm sure they can. I mean, you have to be careful with the name, but there's a page on. We're not extremely active. We're really just friends, but we have a beautiful story. And I think on YouTube, you can find that story. We played at some drum festival at one point, and with the Strikers in Chicago, and they pulled out the story. It came from one picture that Kelly took at finals, and years later we just found each other, all the people from this picture, and we were the 4th snare. Actually, we're 5 of us, but one of us we couldn't find for the picture, but we got together, all these 4 ladies. It's amazing. friends to this day. So,
well, if you send me the link to that, I will make sure we get that linked up on our episode.
We have to get that going, Jackie. That's
For
a
sure.
must.
And Georgia, what are you up to?
Actually, I am not around the activity much at all anymore. After I left Bushwhackers in '95, I actually started riding a motorcycle, and I was putting all my time into that. So, and again, I was the only girl in a sport bike world, which guys didn't like that either. So
you were just living the dream.
One thing to another. But yeah, so I was doing that for a while, and now, just kind of just hanging out. But now that I've done this thing, I've started listening to some drum corps again, and I'm definitely going to go check out the alumni corps at Allentown. So
do it.
We'll see.
Do it. And I'm just saying, I missed the Blue Stars 50th anniversary corps also, but I'm doing the 60th anniversary corps. So it could still happen in the future. You never know.
Never know. But yeah, this year is out for me, but I will go support them and go check out their rehearsal during Allentown. So
you just want to go drink in the park. Stop with that.
No, I want to hang out with you in the park.
Well, then you want to go drink in the park. Now, Jackie, have you ever been to the park in Allentown?
Nope.
Oh, sister, you are missing an East Coast gem.
That's for On a Water Break After Dark. That's a different episode. Don, what are you up to?
No, and it's a really big gathering of drum corps. It's a big social thing. Like, you never even make it in. You pay $100 for your ticket.
Oh my God.
I don't even buy a ticket.
It's that much fun.
Okay, Dawn, what are you up to these days?
So I am doing the alumni corps. I did mention that, but currently I own my own business. Maybe you can see my sign, but it says DawnLewisDesigns.com, and my Instagram is @DLDMakeup. I am a makeup artist, and I'm an esthetician. So I do facials, I do makeup, I do special effects makeup. So you could check my Instagram out. If you scroll down, I haven't had a lot of time, but I do eyelash extensions. I do detailed stuff, but I do that for a living. So I'm an artiste and I love it. I take care of people and I bang on drums. It's awesome.
And so for anybody who's just listening and can't see you, I want to say I've been admiring your makeup for the entire interview. I love it. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And you said that's @DLD Makeup Design?
Yeah, it's just Instagram is @DLDMakeup. That's it. And the website is DawnLewisDesigns.com.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to come follow you right after this too.
Please.
And she plays snare drum.
I will follow you right back.
Well, that is all the time we have for today for our amazing panel. Oh my gosh, this has been so much fun. Thank you guys again so much for coming and lending us part of your time. I'm just in awe of you so much more even now than I was when we started. It's great. Make sure you guys go follow them. And we need to get back out on the field because I think we have some laps to do for being late here.
Oh, there you go. Push-ups and stuff. That's okay. Thank you for having us.
Bye, guys.
Hey, this is Christine Ream.
And Chris Green.
Guard Closet was founded as a consignment business in 2000. Since then, it has grown to include winter guard, band, percussion, and other genres.
We can help you with custom flag and costuming designs.
Our consignment inventory has plenty of great looks for your color guard, drumline, and marching band.
Pay it forward. When you purchase consignment, you help other programs. Last year, we sold over 400 sets of consignments and returned over $125,000 in payments to our consigners for their sales.
Additionally, Guard Closet offers custom and pre-designed costumes, flags, floors, and formal wear, full or partial show writing, educational programming, and other services.
Max out your rehearsal time and set up a microsite for easy student ordering for shoes, gloves, and other equipment.
The Guard Closet team is here to help you get everything you want and need for your season. Check us out at guardcloset.com and follow us on social media.
Y'all, oh my gosh, that interview was epic. That just the history and everything, like all of the background and just everything with these women. I am blown away. I never get this excited talking about drummers. I'm just saying it was amazing. And
rude.
Anne, you're here. You have a connection with one of the lovely ladies who's on our panel.
Yeah, so Gisele was actually a volunteer at Crown for a good bit in 2019. Her daughter Jazz is on the color guard, so she spent a lot of time on tour with us, and it was super cool just getting to talk to her and get to know her as literally one of the first women to drum in DCI ever. She had a whole bunch of stories, and it was just super awesome getting to hear her experiences and also to kind of have, a tour mom over the summer. She definitely enjoyed hanging out with the battery and talking to us, and she, made sure everyone was doing okay.
And it's crazy too, because she still has chops. Like I remember Gisele would come up and like chop out with the Crown snare line in 2019 at in spring training. And she would hang better than rookies on the snare line. It was crazy. Love her.
I know Jazz, so that's an exciting connection. But Crown.
How do you know Jazz?
Crown.
Oh, is it from Crown stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like
small
I don't even
world.
think there's 6 degrees of separation in the marching arts. I think it's 3 degrees of separation or something really small.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the real number?
2.
Yeah, I think 2.
If you've ever been on the On a Water Break podcast, it's 1.
Whitney, when were you associated with Crown?
I marched 2003 through 7, but I do a lot of alumni stuff now and organizing and all kinds of connections with the current members. So
yeah, one of my students was marching Crown in their guard. So yeah, no, it's fun.
I love it. Well, we are going to hop over to our newest segment once again. Basically, if you haven't heard this yet, this is where we go off against something that is bugging us in the marching arts world. We call it, What Are We Doing? So, Stephen.
What are we doing?
I'll never get tired of that Trish sample.
What are we doing?
I didn't even know we had the sound ready for it now. I'm dying. Well, Stephen, you need to start this one off because I think we're all going to have some strong opinions on your point this week.
Yeah, so I was talking with Jeremy a bunch this week, and we came down on different sides of the aisle. So this one is, what are we doing with these percussion groups wearing just sneakers? Just regular sneakers that don't necessarily have anything to do with the uniform. I don't hate it. Jeremy and some other folks that are a little bit more, visually inclined or more into the uniform design think that percussion groups need to take way more risks and should be, even if not risky, you should do something that is more coordinated to the uniform than just wearing, a pair of Nikes. But
okay, so
I think there's more to
this. On this one.
Go ahead.
So first of all, you have to complete the look with anything that you are doing. And if you give me this gorgeous costume or this cool thing, and you put on some raggedy sneakers that don't even if they're not even the right color family, whatever. No. What are we doing? Match your shoes to your show. Okay.
The designer agrees here. Artist here. I always have to make sure my characters are matching shoes. Just side thing. I do mock uniform designs for fun. So yes, Ricardo, I must absolutely match the shoes to the outfit instead of just putting here you go, have some Uggs.
And listen, for those of you who are out there in the world and we don't know where to find shoes, girl, get on Amazon. Amazon got some cute sneakers that are great, and they have.
Go to Guard Closet.
Oh, I go to Amazon for everything. Guard Closet.
Go to Guard Closet.
No,
Style Plus.
Guard Closet. I mean, But no, there are options out there where you can match your costumes with shoes that are more appropriate. Even if you want to stay in the sneaker world, I mean, get sneakers that match.
We can help you out with that.
Yes.
But is this now a direct result of y'all fellas wearing suits with sneakers? Is this like a slippery slope now?
Yes.
Okay, so from an instructional perspective, though, like if I saw a kid march up in sneakers and in full uniform, I'd be getting like black duct tape and covering those shoes. I'm pretty ruthless in that regard. If it's not looking uniform, it's not going on for performance.
Okay, I think that's my question I need clarity on. Are they going and like all purchasing the exact same pair of shoes? Do they all match?
Certainly.
Yes.
Certainly.
Okay. So that's
certainly
at least,
it's part of the uniform purchased by the ensemble.
But so then why not just buy shoes that match the uniform?
I have a better idea.
Let me spell this one out a little bit, because just so everyone knows, a lot of the percussion groups will wear the same regular pair of like black Nike shoes that are straight black all the way through and aren't maybe taking any effort to necessarily coordinate in a more risky or exact way to the uniform. But my devil's advocate, because I kind of think it's okay. I come from the percussion world. I don't think that any drummers I don't think we really care. That's what I think the drumline side would tell you. I would tell you that I think a lot of the time it's wearing something that's comfortable, that's relatively affordable, that isn't a dramatic not fit for the uniform. I very rarely see something that's dramatically wrong. I think that the percussion side of things...
That's it. Sit down.
No one is playing devil's advocate. I can't sit here and allow you guys to trash WGI percussion forever.
Jeremy has entered the room.
Sit down, drummer boy. Listen. I fully support and 1000% understand Steven's and the drummer's world dilemma. I get it. Okay, here's the thing. Here's the perspective that Jeremy and only Jeremy is able to give. And I'm not this is not me being obnoxious. It's just I'm the only one in the manufacturing world willing to say it to everybody else. I don't think there's anybody in the sales world. I can look at everybody on this call right now and say, do you know somebody in the manufacturing world of marching arts? Like, do you know someone that makes the shoes or prints the flags or builds the sabers or anything like that? Most of you are going to say no, and that's legitimate. Like, you don't know who those people are. I'm saying from Steven's standpoint, no one has addressed the drumline shoe. They have not addressed it. It has not been brought up as a thing. What happened was, in like the early 2000s, drummers were like, and this is Woody will tell you, because as Ricardo learned, Woody is one of the instrumental people in moving movement into the drummer's world, right? Woody, like literally not even kidding, Woody and Stephanie Click, who is also a host on that. Stephanie Click is the one that introduced movement into Music City Mystique, and Woody brought movement into the Northeast in terms of drum lines. We are on the cutting edge with our On a Water Break hosts, but they introduced it, but then the manufacturers never said, oh, the drummers need a shoe that works with that. They're doing different movement in drumline than we're doing in the color guard world. Those turns and those pivots and like the drill that they're doing, they can't do that in bare feet. You can't do that in like a slipper. You can't do that in like a jazz shoe. You need something with like rubber, turn, go, whatever, and it needs to be flexible. It needs to be able to move. And manufacturers haven't touched it with a 10-foot pole. Now, that being said, these sneakers with the white stripe,
no,
can be solved in a multitude of ways. One, as Jack said, that stuff would be taped up in like 2.3 seconds to be black. The bottom of your uniform, if you have a unitard, ombre that into black so that I get it a long line. Give me one black long line. Mickey Mouse wears black shoes with black leggings to make him look tall. Minnie Mouse wears black leggings with red shoes to make her look shorter. They're the same size, but that's what it is. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
Mickey and Minnie.
Nail in the coffin on that one.
I'm just glad that WGI groups have moved away from wearing like drill masters on the floor. So I think it's at least better that we're all in sneakers and not wearing our outdoor marching band shoes on the indoor floor, because I will see some floor high school group every season sliding around their indoor tarp because they're wearing some shoes meant for grass. So everyone gets at least 1 point for going to more athletic shoes.
Listen, I am here for the athletic shoe. I understand the fact that we have to make sure that we are supporting our feet and our ankles and our legs for all the complicated drill moves, but match your shoes to the costume and do not come out with a basic black shoe if your costume is red. Don't do that. Don't do that. Sit down.
And don't wear Converse.
Okay, so one of the things
Don't wear Converse.
This is like a crazy idea. I want to get everyone's take on this, but honestly, I was at the mall the other day, and I saw some like golfing shoes, and they have some really nice grips to them, and they're super sleek and well designed. I know that it'd be like crazy, but like I just want to get your guys' take on that. Because they have the grips. They have straight up like rubber grips that are like really well like set into like the front side of the foot. So it's like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just crazy.
Golf shoes. I never looked into golf shoes.
I bet they got some pretty ones, kind of like bowling shoes.
Why not
Remember
bowling
shoes?
Not golf shoes. Track shoes. Like they have the really good grips for like a rubber floor.
That's kind of like what percussion has been doing, honestly, is I think like going for a shoe that's more functional than aesthetically pleasing. Like that's kind of where I think percussion's head has been at.
That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. You don't know that's wrong.
Okay, tell me what you mean.
It should be aesthetically
function
pleasing.
is not no, we don't do function over beauty, not function over beauty. We are the marching arts.
They are the straight boys of the marching arts, though.
Art.
Come on.
Art, marching art.
I know.
Whitney providing the No,
then
I think
phone a
like
gay
you're
friend,
right.
Whitney.
You're right.
Yes.
That, I think I'm with you guys that we should take a little bit more daring choices, but I think that, a lot of it is just trying to grab a shoe that's not that expensive that we can march around in.
Okay, but Stephen, listen. So Whitney said you're the straight boys of the marching arts. Now listen, all of my straight friends, whenever they're designing their costume, they come to me and ask me for those final polishing tips before they go out there. So we know that we can do better.
Okay? Well, then everyone needs their best gay resource. Should we do like a mentee-mentor program between percussion?
I will gladly be everyone's mentee.
Guardcloset.com. It don't get no gayer. Guardcloset.com.
Right.
I will say that a limiting factor for the shoes is probably because most of the members have to buy them themselves. Almost none of the indoor groups provide shoes to their members. So if you come to your member, like, here's this really cool shoe that fits with our show theme, but it's $150. I don't think many people are going to be on board with that. So they kind of find, one of those cheaper shoes that maybe have a little bit of pizzazz on it. But any shoe that I think would be super artistically amazing might be out of the price range for most of the marching members.
I'm going to say this, and we're going to move on from the shoe topic because I will talk about it all night. I did send the picture of George Mason University wearing appropriate shoes that are marching shoes that look nice, that make the line, that is all there. However, Anne, I 1000% agree with you. It needs to be affordable. It needs to be functional. It needs to look right. But I think the bottom line is it has to look right. It has to look right. It has to look.
Hit that ding button for yourself, like that for yourself.
We have sacrificed our toes to our jazz slippers. They're completely dead. Drumline can, sacrifice some of their comfort as well.
Yeah, I will say to wrap it up that after marching Mason for a couple of years, that is something that the staff thinks about every season is I'm pretty sure Dan and Travis both really enjoy their sneakers. So they always find some footwear that goes with the uniform. Although one season they did put us in drill masters, and I will never forgive them for that.
Okay, let's move on.
I want to drag this conversation. Okay, all right, let's move on.
Ricardo, what are we doing?
Oh, hi, friends. So I did another podcast a couple of months ago, and it was all about making sure that you do some self-care. And for some reason, I completely forgot to take my own advice. And I just want to say, what are we doing when we start putting these schedules down on paper and we go, oh, there's space in there that I can do this thing and this thing and this thing. And then we book ourselves insanely crazy. And then we're exhausted and tired and don't have the energy to do the thing that we love. So what are we doing? We need to take more water breaks.
At me for having a child and then taking my kids to WGI World Championships immediately afterwards.
The mental health professional in training also agrees with this statement.
I agree, but I don't follow that advice. I way overbook myself. I'm busy like 7 days a week.
We all do.
All the time.
We all do. It's like an open space on the calendar. We feel as marching arts people, we're supposed to fill it up with something. There are more counts to do stuff.
I resonate with that so much, Ricardo. Oh my God.
Well, for me, it's kind of annoying because like I compete, but then I'm also an instructor. So I got like the double plate of, oh, I need to help teach these kids, but also I need to get ready for performance too. So it's just that vicious cycle. So I'm feeling that right now too.
All right. What are we doing, Trish?
What are we doing? WGI review process. What is going on? So every regional, which I think is great, rightfully so, they review the top two or whoever. It takes so long. And I check the standings every week. And unless you guys have seen something or know somebody that has been promoted, it just seems like, I have a really close friend that works with Gates Chili Winter Guard that they've been reviewed twice, and they were in between Salem and they just went to Pittsburgh last weekend. They had a camp where they were like, "Are we being promoted? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Are we prepared to compete in open, or are we prepared to stay in A?" So I just feel like. I appreciate the fact that WGI does this, and I appreciate the fact that they do take the time to really make sure they have it right. But it just seems like it takes forever, and it's just I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine trying to figure it out like in a span of a week or 2 weeks. Like, okay, so what's the rest of the season look like for us? I just think it's, again, totally appreciate it's definitely warranted, but it just seems like it takes a really long time.
And an A-class rehearsal looks completely different from an open class rehearsal.
It does.
If that's what you're focusing on. You're focusing on completely different things on those sheets.
Exactly.
However, if they think that you're good enough to be in the next class, just continue on as normal until you know something. Because they obviously think you're good enough to be, or they're considering you good enough to be promoted to the next level. So just keep cleaning. Just keep looking for shoes that match your costume.
That's really all you can do.
Amen.
Really all you can do.
Well, Whitney, what are we doing?
Oh boy. Well, we had the Austin Regional this past weekend, and it was something. I don't even know where to start. I guess I'll start with the lights went out during at least 2 Scholastic A finals performances.
I did catch that on Flow.
You saw it live.
Yeah, yes. You saw it on Flow.
Yes.
Not once, but twice?
Twice. At 9 a.m. and 11 a.m.
Things in the air while this happened?
They were performing. Apparently, the lights went on. So Allen High School went on right after us, and the lights went out like during the flag feature. Out. And apparently they came back on when they were like catching a toss.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that happened. And then the other one was when Veterans Memorial, also AGARD, they were going on in finals, and 2 hours later, and the announcer is announcing the beginning of the show, and the lights start to turn off, but their show is oddly enough about like being ready to take the stage kind of thing, and it's all very like looks like you're backstage, costume racks, all the things. And so the lights went out and like perfectly with the announcement, and then they came back on and the music started. It was like they did it on purpose. It was generally effective, and it made me really upset that we can't mess with the lights once again. And then there was like no air conditioning.
Just have somebody lean up against the switches.
No, so I talked to the band director for a long time yesterday, and he said that the district has it's at a power plant, and it's all timed and whatever, and somehow it got turned off. And then they were like, no, you cannot turn the power off today. We must have the power. We are running an event. And so they have no control of it at school. In fact,
maybe they should, not put it at a venue where they don't have control over the power during.
But that's actually becoming more common. Like most school districts control like the air conditioning and things like that away from the actual school. Like my classroom is controlled in a room that is like 10 miles away downtown in like an office building. So I literally have to sit next to, I am in Florida, by the way, everyone. I have to sit in my classroom with a sweater, a jacket, and a heater on because it's like 30 degrees in my classroom.
Oh my God.
No.
Where are they getting the money for that? Air conditioning is expensive.
From all the arts budgets, that's where the money's coming from. Sorry.
No
I ain't signing a contract unless I have a thermostat that I can control in my room. Sorry. Whitney, was that all that happened at that regional?
No, but how long do we have?
I feel like there was more.
There was so much more. Oh my God. The people were just the people running the show were taking their jobs very seriously. And like in ways I've never seen before. Like literally one of my band directors was yelled at by a volunteer because she had on a front side wristband color and we were in the tarp folding area. I've never ever had anyone tell me that a person that has purchased a ticket for $24 cannot go where we fold tarps. Like, that's not real. That's not real. I was like, what? Oh gosh. I don't know how deep we want to get into this, but yeah, it was hot in the school because like the air wasn't on most of the time, again, because it's run at the district power plant. And it was 83 degrees this weekend in Texas. It was quite warm. So it was just like everybody had their clack fans. All the gays were at church on Sunday and we were just sweating. It was fantastic. Fantastic. The sound guy, this is my favorite part of the weekend. In finals, the sound guy started our music 40 seconds into our interval time, and I had just asked the timing and penalty judge for 1 minute and 45. So you can imagine about where we were in the setup process, but they weren't ready. And then it freaked them out. And then they were like panicked, and then it just wasn't great. So I got to yell at the sound guy at the end of the day, and then his wife grabbed me.
Oh my gosh.
I nearly got into a physical altercation at a WGI regional event. I said it here.
Ridiculous.
First. And I'm not a physical person. And I don't
my
get
God.
very easily. But she's lucky she didn't get absolutely just punched right there in the middle of the high school gym floor. It was so much fun. I love paying so much money for a regional experience, and then
yeah, like it's not even like a circuit show; it's
WGI issue. Yeah, it was super. I hope the San Antonio regional is more accommodating to what we do.
What do we do? Like, what do you do with this situation? Because seriously, I feel like WGI would not appreciate that being the representation of how they run festivals. Like, do
No.
they send? Okay, I guess that's my question. Is like, is there like an official WGI person there that like makes sure all these sort of things run smoothly?
Yes, the contest director
So they know about
is
this.
a WGI employee. I mean, there's at least a few there. I mean, yeah. But I think what are we doing about it is I contacted the band director and went through my very lengthy list of issues and suggestions. I made sure to give him suggestions too, because like also this high school does not have a winter guard. They have a winter drumline, which is rare around here. We don't have a lot of winter drumlines in Central Texas. So they have a winter drumline only. They don't have a winter guard. So like none of the parents even have a kid that is in a winter guard. So there's a lot of things there, but I made sure to make suggestions and I let him know every single thing that happened. And he was very nice and he was very willing to hear my suggestions and hear everything I had to say. So I think that's what we're doing is just contacting the right people. And then I will be filling out that WGI survey as soon as it comes in.
Communication. Oh, that's so great. And what are we doing?
Yeah, so what do you guys think we're doing in regards to the member experience with the introduction of safe sport? Do we think it's helping? Do we think it's hindering? I have some pretty mixed feelings about this, specifically kind of a heavy topic, but grooming in the marching arts. There was recently some discourse. There's a Women Plus Facebook page for all the women and just like gender nonconforming people in the marching arts. And we recently had a little bit of a discussion about this, and it kind of blew me away the amount of women or girls, specifically girls and their drumline instructors, who have had instances where they have been hit on or asked out or pursued by their much older male instructors. So just kind of interested in what you guys think about that and how safe sport has maybe helped, not helped, or, you know, done anything to fix sort of that member experience.
Just to clarify, are they asking members to do safe sport now?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay,
I don't think I ever had to do it, but I think all members do now.
Yeah, I thought it was just staff members, but that's interesting.
I think
as of last season, all members did.
Okay.
I think finally we're starting to see how prevalent that this problem is in the world of marching arts, and I think that this is something that's always sort of been swept under the rug. And I think from an instructional standpoint, I think it puts minds at ease knowing that there's that safeguard there for students, because at the end of the day, we want to have the best experience possible for our performance, right? Like that's our prime directive. All of these events is to lift the kids up and so that they have the best experience. And I think going forward, I think it's very important that we continue to shed light on these uncomfortable topics, because usually in a educational setting, these types of topics are kind of awkward to talk about, right? But I think there needs to be an open forum in which allegations can be brought forth, in which students can have a voice in this, because it's very sad given sometimes that individuals will use the instructor to student hierarchy in order to do terrible things, right? So I think safeguards like this are extremely important. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, totally. And it's really sad because it's like, obviously, you know, we're concerned about it because it's happening in the marching arts, but also, you know, this is something that happens in a lot of activities involving young people. And you're absolutely right that it's not good. Like, I wouldn't want to send my child or myself if I knew these kinds of things were happening. So, you know, hopefully, you know, people who are educators or people who aren't even educators, you know, we can advocate for making safer spaces for people, because everyone deserves to have a fun and safe time anywhere.
Amen.
Yeah. I definitely think that safe sport is a step in the right direction, but maybe we haven't gotten all the way to like the correct answer.
I don't think there is a correct answer yet. I think the correct answer is continuing to unfold And I think that this is a step in the right direction. And as we take more steps, we get closer to figuring out what that right answer is. I think it's valuable for all students to be able to understand what that is and be able to see those signs, because sometimes they don't really truly understand what's happening to them. And unfortunately, there are people who are older who have been around who have become seasoned at doing this and are able to sweep it under the rug. And so we need to be able to point that out to the members so that they know, so that they can call it out, so that they can see it, or see it in friends so that they can let people know.
Yeah, I think that's a really honest take.
Yeah, like educating members is great, but also we need to call out our colleagues more. Everybody hears whispers. Everybody knows that these people are still existing in the marching arts. So we have to, maybe we don't ask them back to teach. Maybe we don't invite them to our ensembles. But I think it definitely starts from accountability colleague to colleague and not just giving students tools to deal with it.
Preach.
All right, we have got like the shortest news section I have ever seen tonight. So, Stephen, why don't you take off with your story?
Yeah, this is pretty cool. This is over on bluecoats.com. The Bluecoats and Sun Lux have announced a 2-year creative and educational partnership. So Sun Lux has now been named their artist in residence through the 2025 season. Which is actually, it's pretty cool. So they're going to come around. They're doing like some clinics, some master classes and stuff this summer, which Bluecoats has already been like making a thing. They had Jacob Collier out there, I think a year or two ago. Like they're already working in these master classes, but in 2025, like an actual Grammy nominated band, essentially, like they made the score for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And they make a lot of other experimental music. They're literally going to be like making original music to be the show for Bluecoats 2025. And they're kind of taking 2024 to be in the mix and like, I think get some exposure to it. Of course, they're probably not also like contracted to do so much time in 2024, but like pretty actually different and wild to see a group like actually go higher just a regular, traditional, successful, like Grammy nominated artist or band and say like, we want you fully in the fold. We're not using like some source music from this band. Like we want you here teaching master classes, writing the show with us, writing new music for the show. It's like a very Bluecoats thing to do. And I think it's a very like cool idea. I'm excited to see what comes of it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that hasn't happened sooner.
Yeah, honestly.
Because like most drum corps just arrangements, right? I don't know many shows that have had like, here's some new original music. So I think it'll be interesting to see music written specifically for drum corps instead of just us taking cool things that align with the show and be like, here's an arrangement.
Yeah, and it's cool because they're taking a group that like they would use for that kind of like more out there weird source music. And they're kind of like just going straight to the brain. And rather than like trying to adapt stuff that wasn't made for it, they're just going to try to take that creative source and plug it right into their program. So just another step forward.
Exposing them to like our world too, not just saying, here, give us this, but actually like see what we do and how we do it. And then create something that works for that.
And create something.
Well with it.
Yeah, they didn't just hire them for a season cold. They basically like put them in the fold in the light way for a season. And then they want to ram hard in 2025. Which like, yeah, it's thought out. It's intelligent. I agree.
They just did the movie, all the music for the, what is it? Everything Everywhere All at Once. They literally did like that whole soundtrack. I saw them live like 2 years ago. I absolutely love them. If I was young enough to march, I would so be marching there. Oh my God. I love them so much. That's so cool.
Yeah, that too. That's interesting. Is this like marketing to try to get, a bigger auditionee pool as well? Because I'd feel the same way as you. Like this, if I was marching age, this looks cool. And I would think that would be a fun experience.
I don't think they need any help with that. I mean, I don't know.
They're already
but
the best at it, but just
Yeah,
keep
I don't-
hammering it down, fellas, you know?
That's so cool. I want to know how much they are paying Sunlux. I would be very interested to see those
Oh.
numbers.
Yeah, what are their member fees
That's-
going to be like in the coming years?
$12 million.
Firstborn. That's going to be their member fees. Firstborn and a left leg.
Oh my goodness, it's getting there. You're making jokes, but it's getting there.
Okay, Trish, what do you brought for us today for news?
Okay, well, the University of Delaware has a new marching band director. She is Brooke Johnson. She comes to University of Delaware from Miami University, Ohio, but she is a UD alum. And I think that's what makes this really unique. And, everybody seems to be really excited about it. Outgoing director Heidi Sarver said when she got the message from Brooke that she was signed, sealed, and delivered, that tears ran down her face because she knew the band was in really good hands. Story's a little bit bittersweet for me because I previously taught at color guard at University of Delaware and visual arts / De La Jour Winter Guard, and I can't say enough amazing things about Heidi Sarver. She's incredible. She's down to earth. She's there for you when you need her. She's just incredible. So, but on the flip side, I'm really super happy for her that she can now rest and know that the band is in good hands. So, and I believe that it's very possible that she will be on the future on a Water Break episode. Brooke Johnson will. So we'll look forward to that.
And we did interview Heidi also, right?
We did, yes.
Heidi.
Yeah.
She's
So
the best.
all of our listeners, go back and
Best.
listen to that episode. That was a good one too. Jack, exciting one.
Yes. Yeah, so something that strikes close to home here on the West Coast. So the 2025 slots for the 2025 Rose Parade have been selected. It's exciting for all the bands that are going to be rolling out next New Year's for that awesome parade opportunity. So anyone who doesn't know, the application process is renowned as the gauntlet because you have to send in an excellent video application composed of not only rank and file marching but also a field show performance to show your diversity of skill set, so that you can perform not only in the band fest event but in the parade proper. And at the end of it all, even if you are a great block, even if you are awesome on the field, if it doesn't look like you would be fun to look at for 6 miles, you get cut. It's kind of a brutal process. So way to go for all our bands represented around the United States coming in for the 2025 Rose Parade. Congratulations.
And Ricardo.
Well, the WGI Emerging Voices Awards have been announced, and the winners are Olivia Starnes and Sade Taylor. And for those of you who don't know what the Future Leaders Program is and the Emerging Voices, it's a community-funded monetary award that provides an opportunity for outstanding minority performers with significant financial need to reach their highest potential. And this award is geared to individuals who show promise to be a beacon for positive change in their communities and WGI. And I am super excited for Olivia to be a winner because Olivia is a member of Eclipse Winter Guard, which I am on staff for. And I actually was just with Olivia listening to her try to figure out her life and her next steps because she's so passionate about the marching arts. And here's a quick little thing. I got a quote from her today, hot off the presses. So she's originally from Sikeston, Missouri, but she moved to Riverdale, Tennessee during her sophomore year. Most of her life, it has just been her mom, and her little sister. But she says, color art wasn't big where I grew up. Once we moved, my little sister saw how serious I was beginning to take guard, and I was able to spin in 8th grade. And she absolutely loves it and is spinning with her high school now. And she started guard at her middle school. The high school girls taught them the show, and then they designed it. And she says, because of marching, I've been given wonderful opportunities. I've been blessed to be able to teach at my alma mater and about 3 other schools, be a part of the Future Leaders program, and a winner of the Emerging Voices Awards. While doing that, I'm working in retail, preparing for nursing school, and looking forward to drum corps. And her instructor from high school all the way through said she is wonderful. Her spirit is unmatched. She is beyond kind and just the best kid. And I will say from my interactions with her, I agree with it, and she is well deserving. So congratulations to both Olivia and Sade. This is a great accomplishment for you both.
So maybe we need to get some interviews lined up with these winners here.
I'm going to work on that.
Do it. Sykes in Missouri. That's like right down the road from me.
It is. That's in your neighborhood, friend.
All right, everybody. Thank you for a great rehearsal this week. Thank you to our hosts, Whitney, Emily, Trish, Jack, Ricardo, Steven. And if our listeners want to find you, where could they do that at?
Yeah, you can primarily find me on Instagram at ann.saber.com. And if you want to listen to a podcast that I produced, it's not about the marching arts, but it's about women in conservation. And there's a lot of intersectionality between the two. You can find that podcast. It's called Conservation Stories Podcast, Trailblazing Women in Conservation. You can find that on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, all of your main podcast hosting formats.
Excellent. All right. Thank you once again to Gisele, Dawn, and Georgia for that incredible interview with Woody and me. One more thing. Don't forget, we have our new YouTube channel that has so many of our interviews coming out as full videos. So make sure you go and subscribe so you don't miss those. Ring that bell. Get those notifications. But before you close out of your podcast listening app, make sure you go subscribe, write us a review, share this with a friend, follow us on all of our social media at On a Water Break, and we'll see you at the next rehearsal on a water break.
Go practice.
The On a Water Break podcast was produced by Jeremy Williams and Christine Ream. The intro and outro music was produced by Josh Lida. To learn more, visit lidamusic.com. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.